Read the business news today, and you will see a familiar pattern. Meta is letting hundreds of people go from reality labs, social media teams, and recruiting. The common explanation is a strategic pivot to redirect resources towards artificial intelligence. Look closely at the balance sheet. Meta generated $102 billion in operating income last year. They are not running out of money. They are choosing to spend it on server racks instead of human salaries, firing humans to buy computers. Tracking headcounts and stock prices misses the actual threat to this transition. By focusing entirely on the financial math we can see, we have made a much larger physical risk completely invisible. A manufactured blind spot in corporate architecture creates a systemic risk that capital alone cannot solve. Meta is one of about 25 hyperscalers, massive firms that control the majority of global cloud computing, data storage, and network infrastructure. Collectively, these companies hold more concentrated sovereignty than many nations. Training the next generation of artificial intelligence is an incredibly heavy physical process. It requires thousands of tons of steel, sprawling acreage, and continuous, immense streams of electricity. This hardware is the unbypassable reality of the internet. Yet the tech industry has designed its market models to ignore the very physical foundation that keeps those servers running. When a tech giant builds a new data center, it pulls directly from the local geography. Before a single chip processes code, the facility draws millions of gallons of water from the surrounding watershed to keep the hardware from melting down. Next, it joins the interconnection queue, the official waiting list for new power projects to connect to the regional electrical grid. A single campus can consume enough megawatts to noticeably raise energy costs for the surrounding households. Then comes the balance sheet of the town itself. To attract these massive facilities, municipalities often grant heavy tax incentives. That financial decision actively redirects capital away from the public schools and civic services that support the people living there. This diagram illustrates how these impacts are tied together. The water supply, the power grid, and the municipal budget form a single system. A strain on one eventually degrades the others, expanding the corporate asset by draining the local environment. These resource drains are the literal, unbypassable engine powering the AI industry. Executives approving these data centers make rational decisions based on the data in front of them, the speed of the AI race, the actions of competitors, and the daily stock price. This diagram illustrates the structural flaw in that data. The information is siloed. The team planning server expansion cannot see the local utility tariffs, and the financial models cannot access the local watershed capacities. Scaling infinitely within a closed loop eventually triggers a collision with the hard limits of the physical world. The infrastructure buckles because the digital model never accounted for the physical stress. This collision triggers the loss of a social license, the fragile, unwritten, informal approval that local communities and regulators grant a business to physically operate in their specific area. It is a fragile permission. When a facility extracts too much water, drives up local power bills, and empties public coffers, the community pushes back. Residents organize at zoning hearings, regulators freeze building permits, and enterprise customers quietly look for alternatives. Investing tens of billions of dollars into AI infrastructure is worthless if the community, regulators, and grid refuse to sustain its existence. The common industry narrative suggests that the main hurdle in the AI race is manufacturing enough advanced silicon and securing enough compute, the raw processing capability required to run complex software models. Corporate classification systems that hide systemic physical risks from executive decision-makers have become the actual bottleneck. No single company can fix this from within their own walls. Meta cannot force a federal geology survey to talk to a regional power grid's waiting list. They only hold their own isolated pieces of the puzzle. Surviving the AI race requires building a bridge to see the entire physical ecosystem. This mapping illustrates a sovereign network co-built by hyperscalers, utilities, and communities to bridge digital growth and physical capacity. The necessary data, watershed gauges, grid capacities, and municipal budgets already exist. This network provides the common grid point to see them together. Adopting this integration does not require a company to abandon its ambition. It only requires adjusting the data architecture so executives can see the entire environment in which they are operating. Moving from a siloed view to a unified one allows the market to compete and AI to advance, respecting the physical limits of the foundation. In the age of AI, the companies that survive will be the ones that master the visibility of the real world.